Cubs baseball on CSN Chicago is presented by State Farm. Nice, clear, cool night here in the Bay Area. The Cubs in Oakland for only the second time ever in interleague play. Cubs and A's opening up a 3-game set. And welcome to the Oakland Coliseum. Jim DeShays and Len Casper. The Cubs with an off day yesterday following a very good homestand.
Yeah, very good homestand, of doing well in all phases of the game. Some tremendous defensive plays on the homestand. A couple of walk-off wins. The tail of the tape, 7-1 record at 2.04 ERA. Both the starters and the relievers outstanding. Versus the American League West this year, the Cubs are 6-2 with a 1.92 ERA. That's pertinent because the A's play in the American League West, and after this series, the Cubs go home to face the Angels.
Yeah, they'll play the Astros in September in Houston as well. John Lester was briefly an Athletic, so he's used to pitching in this ballpark.
And he's been good in this ballpark. Career here, he has a losing record, but a 2.71 ERA. He made 11 starts for the A's in 2014, 6 of them in this ballpark, at a 2.01 home ERA. That year, Dylan Overton, the young left-hander, has really struggled. The home run ball has been a big problem for him. He's made 4 starts, 18 innings. He's allowed 9 homers.
So the first place Cubs against the last place A's, and the Cubs coming off one of their better homestands in recent memory. A couple of big walk-off wins. We'll get this 3-game weekend set and road trip started next.
Cubs baseball on CSN Chicago is brought to you in part by your Chicago area and Northwest Indiana Lexus dealer, who invites you to test drive a Lexus today. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Illinois, through it all. Ford, inviting you to check out their fuel-efficient lineup at your local Ford store or at localfordstores.com. Southwest Airlines, transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. And by your local Kia dealers. Visit mykiachicago.com to learn more.
Back to Oakland, and the leadoff man is presented by Binny's Beverage Depot. If Dexter Fowler leads off the game with a hit, Binny's will donate $100 to the Greater Chicago Food Depository. Pretty neat deal. Anthony Rizzo's from Parkland, Florida. His Little League team is playing this weekend out here in California in the Intermediate World Series in Livermore. Tomorrow, the U.S. Championship game. They've already won the Florida State title and the Southeast title, so they'll actually represent the Southeast region. He got them all tickets tonight to enjoy the Cubs and the A's. Nicely done, Anthony Rizzo. A lot of Cub fans in the ballpark, as you can imagine. Only the second time ever the Cubs have come to Oakland. 2013 was their first trip here. And JD, the Cubs made a roster move today as Jorge Soler is back from the disabled list.
Yeah, All systems go for Soler. That hamstring injury hopefully behind him. You see the numbers so far this year. It's been a season of fits and starts for him. You know, once he gets on a little bit of a roll, then he kind of scuffle a little bit. Then he got hurt. Joe Nathan designated for assignment. So Joe no longer with the ball club.
Just didn't have enough time to really get going as Cubs made all these bullpen moves.
Yeah, and that's the thing. You know, hopefully he'll land if he wants to continue pitching, land a job with some other club. But when you're in go for it mode, as the Cubs are, you knew they're going to be active at the trade deadline, and that there might be some casualties off the major league roster. And it looks like, you know, Joe Nathan will, if he pitches again in the big leagues, it'll be for someone other than the Cubs.
Set your umpires for tonight. It's Mike Estabrook behind the plate. The crew chief Dana DeMuth at first. Ramon De Jesus is at second, and Paul Emmel over at third. Only one night game in this set. That's tonight, and then 2 early starts on Saturday and Sunday. The Cubs were off yesterday. The A's snapped a 5-game losing streak with a win in extra innings in Anaheim. John Lester will not have to bat tonight, although he's at the point where he probably enjoys it. Had that big pinch hit, game-ending sac bunt on Sunday against the Mariners. So Dylan Overton, the rookie left-hander, will face the following Cubs Southwest starting lineup. Fowler, Bryant, and Rizzo at the top. Former A. Ben Zobrist in the cleanup spot. Former Athletic first-round draft pick Addison Russell. First time in this ballpark since he signed and took BP here. Soler will be the DH. Hayward in right, batting 7th. Javi Baez at 3rd, and David Ross will bat 9th.
We'll check in with the Athletics defensively. They've committed 69 errors, second most in the American League, and the advanced metrics really do not like this club defensively, but there's a lot of new faces out there. Chris Davis, Jake Smolinski, Brett Eibner just called up from the minor leagues, composed the outfield. Healy, Simeon, Leidendorf, Valencia, third to first. Danny Valencia making his 6th start at first base. Say that fast 3 times. Bruce Maxwell, a rookie behind the plate. And the rookie Dylan Overton is on the mound. He's the Lexus Pursuing Perfection starting pitcher for the A's. And Dylan would tell you, never mind perfection, I just want to have a good outing. So far, it's been a tough go for him. He won his debut start, but things have not gone well since then. And check out the home run numbers. 9 home runs in just 18 in a third inning of work. 1 and 2, 933 for Overton. He goes upper 80s with a fastball, cutter, curveball. The best pitch probably his changeup.
Cubs starting the night 9.5 games ahead of St. Louis. The Cardinals are hosting the Braves this weekend. They lead 1-0 in the top of the 7th. In St. Louis, the A's pulling up the rear in the AL West, a game back of the 4th place LA Angels. So Fowler will start it. Switch hitter batting righty. And the lefty Overton is ready to work. And on the outside corner, strike 1 to get us started.
Overton 6'2", $175, 24 years of age. From Oklahoma, pitched at the University of Oklahoma.
Yeah, he had Tommy John surgery shortly after he was drafted. One and two the count. A's really banged up this year. Off the outside. They put second baseman Jed Lowry and pitcher Jesse Hahn on the DL today. They've now used the DL 24 times this year, 1 short of the Oakland club record.
Well, there's something to shoot for. Bob Melvin's had a successful run here as the manager of the A's. Just a tough go for them the last couple of seasons. You go back to 2014, you remember they were the best team in baseball for most of that year.
That ball cranked to deep left center. It'll go. Leadoff homer, Dexter Fowler. And the Greater Chicago Food Depository benefits courtesy Benny's. 1-0.
Well, after the walk-off win the other day, they get off to a great start here this evening as Dexter Fowler goes deep for the 9th time.
Batting in the second position.
It's a home run ball for this kid, and you know his minor league numbers. He did a very nice job keeping the ball in the ballpark, but that was minor league hitters. The big leaguers are wearing this guy out. 10 home runs now, 18 in the 3rd innings of work. He's on a Deshasian pace.
So one batter in, 1-0 Cubs, and an 0-1 count to Chris Bryant. Swing and a miss, 0-2. 10 leadoff homers as a Cub for Fowler. Swing and a miss on a curveball for strike 3. .59 degrees as we get started tonight. But I would call it a warm 59. You know, 59 at Wrigley Field in April can feel like 40, but here it's not too bad.
No, the sun is still out. We're not getting hit by any wind. No, it's pleasant right now.
Fastball strike to Rizzo.
Refreshing, I'm sure, for the Cub players after playing in some pretty hot weather on the homestand.
Curve missed. A little low. One and one the count.
Overton 10-4 with a .321 earned run average at AAA Nashville.
The wind and the 2-1 is hit a ton but way foul. Made changes to this ballpark over the decades, but the one thing that's been pretty constant is a ton of foul territory, and a pitcher can buy a few extra outs on pop-ups that normally would make the seats. Broken bat, fly ball, shallow center, and a base hit. It'll drop in front of Smolinski. So Rizzo's on.
Now we always talk about the bloop and the blast. Well, the blast came first. Here's the bloop, little crack bat single for Rizzo.
Here's Ben Zobrist, who was acquired by the A's January 10th of last year, and then traded away to Kansas City in late July. And he would go on to win a World Series ring with the Royals last year. 67 games with Oakland, and he hit .268. Short lead by Anthony in the 0-1. Fouled back our way.
Yeah, we might get some action up here this weekend. Left-handed batters. Well positioned for that.
Bounced in front of the plate, knocked down by the catcher Maxwell. 330 down the lines. You got low walls mostly around the outfield, 8 feet high. 15 feet high in the alleys, which is where Fowler went for his home run. Fly to left. Chris Davis will make the catch. Rizzo tags and he'll stay at first.
Batting in the 5th position.
2 away, and
shortstop.
it'll bring up Addison
Number
Russell.
27, Addison Russell.
So Russell finally made it to the Coliseum, but not as an Athletic. He was the 11th overall pick in 2012, first rounder by the A's. After he signed, he came here to the Coliseum and took batting practice with the big league club, and this is the first time since that he's been back here.
A little better of late, but he has struggled against left-handed pitching this year. Well, there's better.
There's a base hit. 3rd hit of the inning for the Cubs, and it'll give Jorge Soler a chance.
Batting in the 6th position, designated hitter, number 68, Jorge Soler.
Russell head right on that one. Good solid swing. So far, no ill effects after the off day.
So Soler back after missing almost 2 months with the strained left hamstring. Struggled in terms of his numbers on his rehab assignment. 11 games, hit 162. The key thing is that he's healthy. 1 ball, no strikes.
Yeah, Joe was asked about it before the game, and he said, no restrictions, just go play. So, you know, if the reports came back that he was good enough to go, but still a little suspect, then maybe he would give him a different message. He said, if you want to jog, hit one out of the ballpark.
That's a strike, according to Estabrook. 1-1. Short trip, 3 games here, and that's it. Cubs then head back home for another long stay at Wrigley Field. Jake Arrieta and Sonny Gray, right-handers tomorrow. Kyle Hendricks will take his .222 ERA into Sunday's matchup with lefty Sean Manaea. Deep left, Soler, gone! 3-run homer in his return from the DL. 4-0.
Welcome back, George. That was a 1-iron, an absolute laser. Beautiful swing by Soler. Number 6 on the year for him.
Number 22, Jason Hayward.
Jason Hayward batting 7th tonight. 2 homers here in the first. Fowler to lead it off. Soler with a 3-run blast. So some early run support for John Lester.
Jorge just needed to get back to the big leagues to hit like a big leaguer.
Right. One from Overton, just foul, line past a diving Danny Valencia.
A lot of times when a player first comes to the big leagues, the message he'll get from his AAA manager, everybody else in the organization, the big league manager when he gets there is, hey, you're here for a reason. Just keep doing what you did down at the minor leagues. Don't overrate the opposition. I think sometimes that can be overstated. And clearly Overton's got to find a plan B here.
4 hits, 4 runs. 2 of those hits left the ballpark. It's the Cubs 4, and the A's are coming up. Runs in the first inning. John Lester will face the following Athletics Southwest starting lineup, 11th in the American League in runs per game. Semien will lead it off. Smolinski in center. He's from Rockford, Illinois. Danny Valencia, Chris Davis, the former Brewer. Billy Butler will be the DH. Ryan Healy just getting his major league career started. Eibner making his A's debut. Tyler Ladendorf from the Chicago area, and the catcher Bruce Maxwell. Semien, the shortstop, leading off for just the 2nd time this season, and takes apparently ball 1. Like a good pitch.
Here's the Alexis starting pitcher for the Cubs. Big John, 11-4 with a .295 earned run average.
Swing and a miss, 1-1. Semien, the former White Sox,
doing a lot of socking. 22 home runs from the shortstop position.
The only Athletic to have played in all 109 games to date. Only Trevor Story, who's currently injured, done for the year with the Rockies, has more homers as a shortstop with 27. Backdoor curve misses. 15th career start against the A's. Outside for a ball.
Well, offense showed up for John last time too. His start against Seattle, he scored 12 runs for him. He pitched 6 shutout innings in that ball game. Struck out 7, walked a couple.
Swing and a miss, strike 3.
Well, he goes with a cut fastball under the swing of Marcus Semien. A's don't strike out much. They don't walk a whole lot either. 14th in the American League in walks, last in the American League in on-base percentage. And it's kind of ironic because the whole A's model, right? The whole Moneyball thing was working walks, high on-base guys. This version, not so much.
Smolinski takes a strike. He's from Rockford and the only major league player ever from Boylan Catholic High School, where he was also a star quarterback on the football team. Chases one out of the zone. 0-2. Numbers would say this is a good matchup. He's hitting really well against lefties and also much better at home than on the road. Just off the outside corner.
Counting the pitcher Overton, 6 of the A's in this ball game have spent time in the minor leagues this year. You got a lot of youngsters that are running out there these days.
Line to right and a sliding grab by Hayward. 2 gone.
Hayward continues to impress with his glove work in right field. Got a great break on this ball.
Batting third, playing first.
So these two teams at opposite ends of the spectrum in terms of defensive work. You look at Baseball Reference or Fangraphs, any of those websites that do the advanced metrics. Cubs ranked #1 by fairly wide margin in terms of defensive runs saved. The A's at the bottom by a fairly wide margin.
Ball 1 on Danny Valencia.
Well, the rest of the Cubs defensively, and it's brought to you by Arby's. Bryant Fowler, Hayward outfield, Baez, Russell, Zobrist, Rizzo infield, David Ross, the hind catcher.
Valencia, 31 years old. Whole career in the American League. Twins, Red Sox, Orioles, Royals, Blue Jays, Athletics.
He's done a lot of damage against left-handed pitching this year. 370 batting average, 440 on base, 654 slug.
Lester behind, 3 balls, no strikes. Chris Davis waits on deck. Right down Main Street. 3-1.
What's the main street in Oakland?
I'm going to go with Maine. I don't know.
It's got to be an iconic street in Oakland, doesn't there?
So
Billy Martin Way.
Two. Call strike 3. A little bit of a delayed call by Mike Estabrook. Valencia can't believe it. But the first inning is over. 2 strikeouts for John. Cubs lead 4-0.
are still available. Don't miss any action at Wrigley Field. Visit Cubs.com to get your tickets today.
Four nothing, the Cubs lead. They'll bat here in the second inning. The pitch to Javier Baez. Curveball too high. A reminder, Cubs baseball on CSN Chicago is presented by State Farm. That's a strike. 1-1. Miss the outside corner.
For a guy like Overton to be successful, he's got to be able to throw his changeup in hitters' counts.
Popped him up, and that ball's going to drop. The catcher Maxwell had no idea where it was. So Valencia came racing in along with the pitcher Overton, and nobody caught it.
Yeah, I see Maxwell a little shamefaced there. That one definitely fell within his zone of responsibility. But you can't catch what you can't see. So Baez stays alive. I don't know. He probably should have at least shed the mask and tried to find it a little more aggressively than he did.
Hit pretty well, but this will be caught by Smolinski.
A lot of hard contact here off the young lefty. Gave up 3 home runs in his last start against the Indians.
#3, David Ross.
The answer to the question of the main street in downtown Oakland, I'm going with Broadway.
Broadway,
yeah.
Okay.
So unless I'm told otherwise, we're going to go with it. So any pitch in that middle box will be right down Broadway this weekend. A strike on David. He's batting ninth. 0-2. Nice off day yesterday here in the Bay Area for the Cubs. A lot of guys played some golf. Cubs will be off again when they return home Monday. Popped him up, shallow left center. Davis, the left fielder. 2 gone and back to the top, and Dexter Fowler homered to start the game.
Now batting, number 24, Dexter Fowler.
Well, 25-30 years ago, this ballpark was a lot like many others in baseball. Now it's unique, and what makes it unique is that it's not unique, right? This came in with all the dual purpose facilities in the late 60s, early 70s.
Yeah, big monstrous cavernous ballpark. Cozy doesn't come to mind.
No, it's the only one left that houses a Major League and a National Football League team. The Raiders came back to Oakland in the mid-90s. That ball shot in the left, so Fowler is 2 for 2.
Now batting, number 17,
trying to throw a cut fastball in on his hands, and Dexter kind of wise to it. Quick bat, got on top, lashes it to left.
This park was called the Oakland Coliseum when it opened in the late 60s. It has lived under many different names since. UMax Coliseum, Network Associates, McAfee, Oakland, Alameda County, O.co. Now it's just back to the Oakland Coliseum.
But those of us of a certain age, we think Oakland, Alameda County. We can hear Howard Cosell.
The Oakland, Alameda County Coliseum.
Just doing the Monday night highlights.
Yeah. If they wanted, they could put about 60,000 people in this park, but they have tarped the third deck all the way around to make it a little bit more intimate. Chris fouled that one off his leg or foot.
It's been a lingering issue here for years now, but this franchise possibly relocating. There was some talk of them moving to Santa Clara, Santa Cruz area. Some territorial disputes with the Giants as to whether the A's could move or not.
Fremont was discussed, which is south of here. Now the commissioner recently said he's committed to keeping the A's in Oakland, and said if we left the city 10 years from now, we would likely regret it.
I would think a publicly financed stadium would be out of the question.
Seems that way. 2-2 from Overton is rolled foul, especially after the Giants used private funds to build their ballpark across the bay. Well, the A's have had a lot of success since they moved to Oakland. 4 World Championships, including 3 in a row in the early to mid 70s.
At 72, 3-4. The Reds, the Mets, and the Dodgers.
2-2. We'll try it again.
Moved here from Kansas City 1968, I believe.
Yep. Started in Philadelphia. 5 World Championships over a little more than half a century. Full count, 3-2. Rizzo on deck.
KB 7 out of 26, a .269 batting average on the homestand, a couple of doubles, a home run.
On the ground and into left for a base hit. Fowler will make the turn. They're at the corners.
By pretty aggressive base running there by Dexter Fowler, going first to third on that ball. I didn't realize Healy got a little leather on it. Moving with the pitch certainly gives him a little bit of a head start. There's Kurt Young, the pitching coach. This is his second tour of duty with the A's.
Now batting,
I guess third tour of duty if you consider that he pitched here as well.
Yes, he did. And we'd like to welcome all our viewers watching on Muscatine Power and Water in Muscatine, Iowa.
Never been to Muscatine. I've been to Muscatine, which is just down the road.
First and third, 2 outs and ball 1.
Muscatine, Iowa is in Muscatine County. Imagine that.
That makes sense.
I'm hoping their high school is the Battling Muskies, but on to bigger and better things. Rizzo's going to get an RBI base hit here.
Strike called, 1-1.
A very small sample. Overton has not had success against either right or left-handed batters so far. High 300s batting average, almost 400 from each side of the plate coming into this game.
Maxwell just saved a run.
Stephen Vogt is the primary catcher for the A's. He'll work tomorrow.
Fastball strike. It's 2-2.
A's team ERA 4.69, second highest in the American League. The starters are above 5. 5.18 for the starters. Only the Twins starters have a higher ERA than the A's.
A lot of short starts. Sonny Gray will go into his start tomorrow with a 5.84 ERA. Three-two runner going, and Rizzo with an aggressive swing, but he fouled. Well, only 28 wins by A's starting pitchers. We just started August.
33 times this year they have failed to complete 5 innings. The most such games in Major League Baseball. The bullpen's been worked awfully hard.
Another foul on 3-2. Well, they're making Overton work hard. Already over 50 pitches, and we're only in the second.
Yeah, you know, he doesn't really sink the fastball, so he doesn't have a put away pitch either. You know, it doesn't appear to anyway. So it's the kind of approach that leads to a lot of deep counts and foul balls as he tries to pick at corners and trick hitters. He can't just challenge because, as you see, bad things have happened to him when he challenges.
This one might be playable. Ooh, good effort by Healy as he tried to go over the tarp. Couldn't quite get it. I mean, that right there is 25 rows up at Wrigley, and he almost caught it. That might be on.
Yeah,
that might be on Clark Street.
Yeah, you go that far at Wrigley, you're at Starbucks ordering a coffee.
Another 3-2. Another foul.
You mentioned the golf. Anthony, part of a group that went down to Pebble Beach and played the off day yesterday. Nice group. Beautiful day.
Those guys want Anthony to hit a long one here. Already 1 for 1 with a run scored in the first. In the air to right. It's Eibner to end the inning. Cubs didn't score, but again, they made Overton work hard. 4-0 early. T-Mobile. Last time the Cubs were here back in 2013, Dale Swain was their manager, and Luis Valbuena, Starlin Castro. Look at all these guys who are elsewhere. Nate Scherholtz, unfortunately, in the news today. More on that in a second. Alfonso Soriano, Anthony Rizzo, only guy in the lineup tonight who was in that lineup. Brian Bogusevic, Darwin Barney.
Yeah, the A's have gone through quite a transformation as well. Well, I didn't realize Brian Bogusevic was over in Japan.
Learn something new every day.
There you
go. Nate Scherholtz has received an 80-game PED suspension. He is a minor league free agent, so if anybody signs him, he would have to serve that suspension.
He spent some time in Japan last year, didn't he?
He may have.
Last year or the year before.
Knocked down Baez, and he will not have a play. Davis will have an infield hit.
That's a play Baez is normally going to make. Makes just about every play, so you're always surprised when he doesn't make the play.
Designated hitter, number 16, Billy Butler.
Maybe he overplayed this ball a little bit. And by the time he got it back in his hand, there was no play to be made. Infield knock for Chris Davis.
That's the A's first hit. First base runner. We'll see how aggressive they are against Lester. They're trailing 4-0, but it is early. And Davis will take off. He didn't get a great jump, and he is out. Nicely done by Zobrist. That ball was just slightly, it looked like, to the shortstop side. A quick tag.
Yeah, Davis had a pretty good sized lead, but did not get a great jump, and quick release by David Ross. And yeah, a quick tag by Zobrist.
So back to the windup, and a strike on a fastball to Butler. Butler in his second year with Oakland after 8 seasons as a Kansas City Royal. He's been hot as of late. 11 for 19 over a 6-game hitting streak. Just broke his bat on a little roller foul.
Butler, you'll normally find him among the league leaders in line drive percentage. Which lends to a high batting average.
A nice article on CSNChicago.com by our Patrick Mooney about John Lester and how getting traded to Oakland kind of opened his eyes a little bit. First time he had gone to another organization, and he had mentioned that when he signed with the Cubs. When he left Boston, it's like, oh, okay, I could see myself possibly wearing another uniform. I mean, he had to with the A's, and then after the A's lost the wild card game, John became a free agent, signed the long-term deal with the Cubs. Hit hard on the ground, but Zobrist playing almost directly behind second base, and that's the second out. In the piece, Lester said it was his oldest son's birthday on July 31st. Hudson turned 4 years old. So they're having a birthday party. He found out that morning that he was going to be traded. Andrew Miller got traded. John Lackey got dealt. Stephen Drew, as the Red Sox kind of cleaned house that day. There's a strike to rookie Ryan Healy.
Yeah, it's the nature of baseball, and you grow up around it as a player, and so it's, I wouldn't say you come to expect it, but it's bizarre when you think about it. In just about any other line of work, would you contemplate a situation where you just get a call one day, okay, we've traded you to IBM in San Francisco, you have to be there tomorrow. Reading a story today on Jonathan Lucroy, and he was going through that. Of course, as the trade deadline nears, a lot of times players, the rumors will start to fly, and they'll have conversations internally with their agent and stuff, and they'll get a sense that it's likely going to happen. Lucroy was sitting in the airport out at O'Hare, getting ready to jump on an airplane when he got the call. He did not fly with the Brewers to San Diego initially. He was going to fly on his own to kind of wait as long as possible. And he was getting ready to check in for his flight when his agent called and said, "You've been traded."
2-2 pitch, swing and a miss. Inning over. A hit, no runs. Lester's faced 6 through 2. With the rates at all-time lows, don't wait. Lock in your low rate today with eClick Lending. You never pay lending fees. Point, click, save. eClick Lending. Underway here in the third. One strike on Ben Zobrist. 2 strikes on Ben.
Ben's been swinging a hot bat of late. 385 on the homestand. 10 hits and 26 tries.
Well, we've seen this offense get back to its early season ways. Best exemplified by Zobrist's bases loaded walk in the 9th on Wednesday to tie that game with the Marlins before the wild pitch won it. That gets past Healy and into left. Zobrist on his way to second, and he'll stand there. See how they'll score it.
I got to believe 2-base hit. Was it the best effort by Healy? Sharply hit.
Now batting, number 27, Addison Russell.
It is a double. And here's Russell. called strike. So it was Russell, outfielder Billy McKinney, right-hander Dan Straley, and Cash to the Cubs. For pitchers Jason Hamill and Jeff Samardzija, July 5th, 2014. Low and inside.
Yeah, and the A's, who always been that organization that was hesitant to trade away prospects. Billy Beane was in go for it mode that year. Understandably, they had a great team. We saw him the following spring at the exhibition in Vegas, and he was very frank, saying, that Addison Russell deal that could haunt me, but can understand why they did it.
They were in go for it mode and lost the wild card as Russell just got hit. And we'll head down to first.
Got pretty good shortstop prospect in their system. Name escapes me right now, but the bat will play. The question is whether he'll be able to remain as shortstop. Bartoletto or something to that effect. Overton in the soup again. Two quick base runners.
Barreto, are you
that's
thinking?
it.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, I got him from in the Donaldson deal, right?
I believe so. Picked up 3 pitchers from the Dodgers in the recent trade, and they sent Josh Reddick and Rich Hill to LA. 3 guys with pretty good upside.
Yeah, Franklin Barreto playing currently at Double-A Midland. Soler down into the right field corner, and that ball will get out of play. He had a 3-run homer to the pull side in his first at bat off the DL.
On Wednesday, August 10, Cubs take on the Angels. First pitch at 7:05, and up to the first 10,000 early arriving fans will receive a Cubs Everything pouch presented by Olivet Nazarene University. Tickets are still available. Visit Cubs.com. Ed McMahon should help sell that. Everything you ever wanted in a pouch.
Wanted 2. Soler's pretty good in that first game, isn't he? First major league plate appearance. He homered in Cincinnati. Missing almost 2 months on the DL, comes back, bangs a 3-run homer in his first try.
Well, he took to heart what Joe said about, hey, if you want to jog, hit it out of the ballpark.
Tons of traffic here early against Overton, and Soler hooks this one foul. Follow In Game Live on CSNChicago.com, presented by State Farm. I want to welcome those viewers watching us tonight on MLB Network. Glad to have you with us. Cubs and A's. Cubs got 4 in the first inning.
A's beat the Angels in a late afternoon game yesterday down in Anaheim. That snapped a 5-game losing streak.
Bounced left side, cut off by Healy. They get 1, and that's it. The throw actually went right into Russell, who was a little banged up. And it also looks like Ladendorf, the second baseman, not feeling too good either. They both came together as he was trying to make that relay throw.
Now Healy has to go a long way for this ball, so Russell's right on top of the bag as Ladendorf tries to make the turn there.
Looking at the right index finger. Russell hit at close range. He got hit by a pitch to reach in the first place. That was a painful sequence for him. As I mentioned earlier, the A's already put Jed Lowry on the DL with a bunion on his left foot.
Those bunions can be painful.
Yep.
It's a banged up bunch. Folks, the Cubs are celebrating Bud Fridays in the Budweiser bleachers all season long. Next Friday, that would be August 12th, Budweiser will provide Cubs fedoras to up to the first 5,000 early arriving fans 21 and older in the Budweiser bleachers. Get here early. For details, visit Cubs.com/Fridays.
First and third, one away now. Jason Hayward. And a called strike.
The guy that beats the drum out there in the outfield has stopped beating his drum already. He's dispirited already this early in the game. It's not good.
And do they only do it when the A's are batting?
No, maybe that's what it is. Maybe it's an offensive thing. We'll monitor that situation as we go along. We just hate to see, guys. It's a game of peaks and valleys.
Got to stick with it.
Yeah. It's the grind, man.
Lined into left and a base hit. Zobrist will trot home. 5-0 Cubs. I think our viewers at home don't mind that they're not banging that drum out there. But nicely done. Hayward still only one out. First and second for Baez.
As long as they bang the drum slowly.
Now batting, number 9, Javier Baez.
It's a big, expansive outfield here. Hayward with that off-field approach. He made a lot of outs this year, hitting into the pull shift on the ground to the right side. So well served to shoot it the other way.
I feel like your ratio of pithy comments per overall analysis increases after an off day, or it may just be on the West Coast for the late night.
It's a late night, yeah. I think it's a late night, and it's a 5-0 ball game early.
Baez lined out his first time up. Still no action in the A's bullpen. Cubs have 8 hits. That gets away briefly, and both guys will move up. Good read by Soler.
Wild pitch. And the A's have been charged with a whole bunch of those this year too. And so, you know, that's a pitching stat. It's also a catching stat. And, you know, balls in the dirt that aren't blocked that guys are able to advance on and reflects on the catchers, maybe as much as the pitchers. Chance for Baez. Had a good swing last time, hit the ball hard, but lined to center.
Infield in, second and third in the 2-0. Hammered to left. That will score both. Soler comes in. Hayward right behind him. Baez to second. He's got a double, and it's 7-0.
Well, 2 very good swings of the bat for Baez. This time he finds a little empty real estate out there in left field. And the Cubs continue to put a beat down here on Overton. Now they're going to start scrambling out there in the A's bullpen. Tough situation here for Bob Melvin. Bullpen has been worked awfully hard this year, trying to get some innings out of his young left-hander, but he doesn't want to see the kid get completely abused. And Overton came into this start with a .933 earned run average.
Another visit by Kurt Young.
when you look at Overton's numbers and how things have gone down for him here tonight, you hope you can look back a couple of years from now and he's a successful major league pitcher and you can say, you know what, this kid made it through some pretty tough times.
The A's last 5 games, here's what they've gotten from their starters: 3 1/3, 5 runs, 3 1/3, 7 runs, 5 2/3, 5 runs, 4 innings, 6 runs, 4 innings, 5 runs. So that definitely explains why Overton is not out of the game at this point. Bob Melvin is just trying to get as many outs out of him as he can.
Yeah, this has the feel of a position player pitching at some point in this ball game.
1-0 on Ross. Nice Players Tribune piece with Anthony Rizzo, Chris Bryant, and David Ross doing kind of a roundtable thing. Came out today. Swing and a miss.
What's the highlight?
It's just
chatting,
it's
talking
kind of,
ball, talking life.
Kind of the Grandpa Rossi thing.
And I haven't seen it yet, but Anthony Rizzo in Sports Illustrated this week too.
Talk about the Grandpa Rossi Instagram account. 1-2. The guys put together for David's final year. Bryant mentions his first encounter with David Ross was spring training last year, and Ross said, "How many homers have you hit?" He said 9. He goes, "No, wrong. You've got 0. It doesn't count." Swing and a miss, strike 3. Ross said, "How many did you hit last year in the minors?" He said 43. He said 0. They don't count.
24.
You had 0 in the show. Homer single already for Fowler. Called strike. The pitch. Strike 2.
I just heard the drum. After strike 1, I think.
It was a false alarm. There it is. I heard it too. Just getting warmed up. Sound check. Baez the runner at second. 3 runs in. There it comes. Popped into left. Davis drifts in, and the inning is over. Midway in the 3rd, Cubs 7, A's nothing. timeless moment on this date 4 years ago. Then Cubs second baseman Darwin Barney, his 91st consecutive game without committing an error that set a Cubs record for a second baseman. One strike the count. Brett Eibner, former Kansas City Royal, acquired for Billy Burns. Second to final day of July. No less than a week ago, or about a week ago. Have to get a new sign, aren't they? Was that a Josh Reddick sign?
That was a Josh Reddick sign.
Yeah. He's now a Dodger. Called strike 3.
While Overton is struggling, John Lester just continues to sail along here.
Il prossimo battitore, numero 25, Tyler Laringo.
Painting the outside corner to get Eibner. It's his 4th strikeout.
By the way, Darwin Barney committed 2 errors tonight. Sorry, Darwin. He was playing third. Blue Jays got a run in the 9th to beat the Royals in Kansas City 4-3.
That's a heck of a race over there in the American League East. Baltimore and Toronto tied entering play tonight. Boston 2 games back. Baltimore after 8 leads the White Sox 7-5. And the Bostons are out in front of the Dodgers 4-0. They're in the 4th. Down the coast here in LA.
Ladendorf. 2 down. Ladendorf went to Maine West High School in Des Plaines. Sure, a lot of family and friends are watching our broadcast back home. Maybe rooting for the Cubs, but also pulling for the A's second baseman. Catcher is Maxwell.
I don't know if folks at home can hear it. The public address announcer in this inning is speaking in Italian. Well, it's a different guy. It's an Italian fellow. It's an Italian heritage night here at the ballpark. He's announcing the A's hitters in this inning in Italian.
Love it. Maxwell just 5 games into his major league career. Just cracked the end of his bat. Cool night, but that does not keep John Lester from working up a sweat.
John could work up a lather at the North Pole, but I'm sure he's enjoying this cool night.
Bryant catches that liner, and the inning is over. Lester's held the A's to 1 hit and no runs through 3. over to CSN and get up to speed on your favorite Chicago teams and the rest of the world in sports, plus the latest from the Olympics in Rio. All of that and more on Sportsnet Central tonight on CSN Chicago. Andrew Triggs is on, Nashville native, 6'4", 220. Product of USC. And a breaking ball for a strike on Chris Bryant.
He's been the human yo-yo for the A's this year. Just called up today for his 8th stint with the A's.
Fouled back by Chris. Believed to be the most recalls in Oakland history.
Something you can throw on the back of your baseball card. Yep. You got the club record for recalls. Hey, it's better than the alternative, right? We used to say that about Brian Schlitter. You know, you're that up and down guy. You'd rather be that guy than the just down guy.
Right.
He's getting some chances. 2.95 ERA, 16 games at AAA.
Bryant strikes out.
See where he would be tough on right-handed hitters with that crossfire delivery.
Now batting, number 44, Anthony Rizzo.
You saying you like the angle of his delivery? With a name like Triggs.
Triggs, yeah.
You would think that would be unique. Believe it or not, math was not his favorite subject, though. Fouled off by Rizzo. The 0-1. Slings it in there on the outside corner, according to Mike Estabrook.
Lowry to the DL, Hahn to the DL, Eibner up. He's in right field tonight. And now Triggs, for the 8th time, returns to the big leagues this year.
Jaime Garcia, 8 shutout innings and the game-winning hit. That's a pretty good night. 1-0.
Wow.
Cardinals beat the Braves. So the Cubs lead down to 9 games. Cardinals coming off a series loss in Cincinnati. They dropped 2 out of 3 earlier this week. Matt Carpenter back off the disabled list. He went 0 for 4. Triggs with back-to-back Ks to start the 4th.
Tuesday, August 16, the Cubs are offering specially priced tickets to all Girl Scouts as well as their families and friends to watch the Cubs host the Milwaukee Brewers. All participants will receive a Cubs-themed Scout patch. For more information, visit Cubs.com/special group nights.
Our Twitter friends telling us that I guess Darwin Barney, even though he made 2 errors tonight, did come up with a huge play in the 9th for the Blue Jays. That's not surprising. One and one to Zobrist.
Tight rotation on that breaking ball. It's great leverage when you throw across your body like that. Really, some guys find that it makes it easier to Real tight spin on the breaking ball. We see it with Arrieta with that crossfire delivery.
Ground ball to second, Ladendorf, and that will end the inning. Triggs does his job, tries to settle things down, but his team's down 7. By the way, I guess tomorrow is going to be throwback day. The Cubs will wear their light blue with the white pinstripes from, I guess, 1981. I'll have it for you here on CSN. Semien, foul strike, 7-0 Cubs.
1971, you say?
81.
81. I hope they're comfortable to pitch in.
Agreed.
A's have had one base runner. That was Chris Davis. And then he was caught stealing. So John has faced the minimum through 3.
Lester thought he had him. Like his manager, Semien went to Cal Berkeley, right up the road from here. He's actually from Berkeley, so playing for his hometown team. He'll get way out of play off of first. He's got him from the White Sox in the Jeff Samardzija deal prior to last season. John's 2-2. And he's running full.
Struck him out first time with a cutter. Down and in, got a swing and miss.
Ground ball to Russell.
The Cubs are introducing a game-changing new premier experience at Wrigley Field with seats featuring prime views and access to an exclusive club. This will allow fans to enjoy Cubs baseball in a whole new way. Visit CubsPremier.com to join the Premier Client Priority List.
Smolinski, the former Texas Ranger. Just foul.
Hey, happy birthday to Eric Hinsky.
How old is Mr. Hinsky?
Mr. Hinsky is 39 years of age today.
The birthday, the Cubs. Yeah.
Assistant hitting coach, former Rookie of the Year. Probably still come off the bench and get a big knock for you.
Line to left. Bryant has had a busy night and he makes the catch. Valencia with 2 outs, nobody on. Only hit of the game for the A's was Chris Davis infield single in the second, and then he was very quickly caught stealing. Yankees beat the Indians 13-7. Starlin Castro with a 3rd inning grand slam. Mark Teixeira announcing earlier today he will retire at season's end. He had 2 hits.
Career. Yeah. The 5th on the all-time home runs list for switch hitters.
Sounds about right.
Handful of Gold Gloves, 400+ home runs.
Russell again. Lots of time. Inning over. After 4, all Cubs 7-0.
As the Fire look for a win in Salt Lake City. Coverage begins at 8:30 on CSN Chicago.
A lot of Cubs blue in the stands. There's the birthday boy, Eric Hinsky. And he and John Maley have to be very happy with what the offense has done to this point as we get into the 5th inning. There's the 0-1. Right back where it came from. Russell has been on all 3 times, 2 for 2, and hit by a pitch.
Yeah, just to let these A's fans know what they're missing, right? Hey, isn't this the guy that was our top prospect?
Now batting,
yeah,
number
that's him.
68, Jorge Soler.
Triggs to Soler. Crossfire action way outside.
Somewhat surprising that Triggs ended up matriculating to USC. Being from Nashville, you figure the Vanderbilt would have snagged him.
Two and 0.
A poli-sci major, graduated magna cum laude.
Smart guy. Borderline strike, 2-1. Decent lead by Russell. Here's a pitch. Bounce to third. They'll get one and they'll get them both. Around the horn they go, 5-4-3.
Second time Solaris bounced to third. This time the A's get their double play. This ball a little more sharply struck. Healy able to unload quickly enough where Eddendorf can make the turn and not have to deal with Addison Russell so much.
Hayward with an RBI single and a run his last time up. Struck out in the first. Those two at bats against the starter lefty Dylan Overton, who had a rough go, 3 innings, 9 hits, 7 runs. His ERA up to 10.97 through 5 major league starts.
When you take the mound with an ERA above 9, you're not going out there with a deep reservoir of confidence, and the Cubs jumped him early.
One, two. Downstairs. Game-ending homer, Sean Rodriguez. Pirates 3, Reds 2 the final in Pittsburgh. Andrew McCutchen back in the lineup tonight. A few days off. He went 0 for 2 with 2 walks. Called strike 3. So Triggs with 2 scoreless innings. Still 7-zip Cubs. Underway here in the A's fifth. Ball one on Chris Davis. He has their only hit. Infield single leading off the second, but quickly erased as he tried to steal second. And gunned down by David Ross.
Otherwise, we'd be mentioning John having a no-hitter and upsetting people on Twitter.
Right, exactly.
And again, it was a play. It wasn't an easy play, and I think the call was right, base hit, but it's a play Baez normally makes.
Davis was ejected in the 8th inning yesterday in Anaheim for arguing a strike call. First career ejection. Earlier this year, May 17th against Texas, in this very ballpark, hit 3 home runs, including a game-ending grand slam.
He gets them in bunches.
He got him from Milwaukee in a trade in February. 2 balls, 2 strikes on him.
Since 2013, Chris Davis has the 9th best home run to at bat ratio in all of Major League Baseball.
Lefty Daniel Coulombe.
27 long ones this year, 69 driven in. Those tie career highs. Number 1 on that list, home run per at bat, is the other Chris Davis over in Baltimore.
So you're saying if you want to be a power hitter, you should change your name to Chris Davis.
Yeah.
Ooh, that got a big piece of David Ross. Well, that rattled around in there too, didn't it? Knee and then chest. The swing and a miss. Awkward cut on that fastball. 5 strikeouts for Lester.
Now adding designated hitter, number 16, Phillies.
One thing you ask your guys to do when you fall down early is just, have good at bats, keep battling, and it hasn't been the case here. Lester has taken charge of this ball game, and the Cubs have a very comfortable lead. This guy usually gives you a good AB.
Two 2-0 on the DH. Tigers edged the Mets 4-3.
Justin Verlander, a 12-game winner now, 12-6. Noah Syndergaard.
Mets always seem to be embroiled in some sort of controversy. The latest, Yoenis Cespedes goes to the DL, and then people found out that day he was golfing with Kevin Millar.
Yeah.
So the Mets had to put out that media fire. Sandy Alderson said, yeah, bad optics. 2-2.
What's going on? What's he got? Leg?
Quad. And that's an injury that's been going on for a while.
Yeah, I probably should give up the golf for a while.
Three balls, 2 strikes.
David Ross taking a little extra time, contemplating what he wants to do here with Butler on 3-2. You're not going to see a cookie from John Lester. That was cookie-ish. Normally, regardless of the score, he just does not want to give in. He's always trying to make a pitcher's pitch, always working the corners, trying to stay away from the fat part of the bat. I don't know if that was just go ahead, take a whack at it. I've got a 7-run lead, or if he just missed his spot.
Foul past third. Rockies leading the Marlins 3-2. They're in the top of the ninth.
He's been playing good ball.
Ichiro for 1. He struck out as a pinch hitter, so still at 29.98. Yeah, Rockies are at 500. And that would be a big win for them against a wild card contender.
They are currently 3 back in the wild card race.
Swing and a miss, strike 3.
Beat him with a good piece of cheese.
Ryan Healy.
John pitching shutout ball here tonight. Last time out against the Mariners, it was 6 shutout for Lester.
Backhanded Russell. He will get Healy, and the inning is over. Lester has allowed 1 base runner through 5. 7-0. Series probables brought to you by PNC. Jake Arrieta, Sonny Gray, the matchup tomorrow afternoon here on CSN. Kyle Hendricks, Sean Manaea on Sunday. Daniel Coulombe, 5'10" lefty.
Finesse guy. High 80s fastball. Slider and a curve.
Roll for a ball to Baez.
Striggs was good. 2 shutout innings, allowed a hit, punched out 3.
Fastball misses outside. 2-0.
Bullet to left for a 2-run double last time for Baez, who has been wearing out left-handed pitching.
Mentioned the Blue Jays won earlier. Orioles won on the road as well. 7-5 at the White Sox. So still even up top of the American League East. Breaking ball bounced foul.
So the Blue Jays acquired Francisco Liriano from Pittsburgh. I thought they were going to take Aaron Sanchez out of the rotation, but
They were, and then they reversed. Yeah.
He's going to go the 6-man rotation for a while.
He struck him out looking.
Good breaking stuff. How do you get to Wrigley Field? The Cubs suggest taking public transportation. They offer a free bike check. That's now located by the Addison Red Line station. For drivers, the Cubs provide free remote parking and shuttle service on night and weekend games. For information, visit the A to Z guide on Cubs.com.
Dallas Keuchel complete game 3 hit shutout. The Astros improved to 2-9 against the Rangers this year. 5-0. Final score from Minute Maid.
The Astros went from 2.5 to 6.5 back in fairly short order, so this is kind of a draw a line in the sand kind of series for them. And, Keuchel, last year's Cy Young Award winner, came up big, didn't he?
Giants lost again. So they are now 5-14 since the All-Star break. 5-1 at the Nationals. Turner and Ramos homered against the shift. Ladendorf will get Ross.
Pretty play. He had the advantage of a slow man going down the line, but nice play nonetheless by Ladendorf to get Ross.
Now batting, number 24, Dexter Fowler.
Coulombe, a 25th round pick of the Dodgers back in 2012. Saw a little big league time with LA in 2014. 5 appearances with the Dodgers last year before joining the A's. He pitched 9 times. Big old hook.
One to Fowler's outside for a ball.
Dodgers put Bud Norris on the 15-day DL. It's like if you go to pitch for the Dodgers, you have to go on the DL at some point.
Colin Ray will have Tommy John surgery. What an odyssey for him. Got traded from the Padres to the Marlins, made 1 start, left early in that start. Got traded back to the Padres, and now he's got to have elbow reconstruction. Fowler busting it down the line, and Ladendorf, very similar play. Wasn't quite as far away, but he makes a nice play to get Dexter. It is 7-0 Cubs.
can follow Patrick Mooney, our Cubs insider, at CSNChicago.com, presented by Nationwide's Jeff Vukovich. Serving the community for 38 years. Go to jeffvuk.com. Nationwide is on your side.
That ball hit a ton by Eibner, and it's gone, and the A's are on the board. So Eibner, in his A's debut, hits his 4th home run of the season, 3 earlier with Kansas City.
Well, if there was going to be any gnashing of teeth over the base hit by Davis and possibly of upsetting a no-hitter, official score doesn't have to worry about that now. No doubter, that's your 4th home run replay. Eibner breaks the shutout.
Ladendorf takes a curve low and outside. Tyler 3 out of 38 this year. Fly to the left his first time up. Mentioned went to Maine West High in Des Plaines, Illinois. A chance to meet Tyler around the batting cage before the game. His grandmother just finishing up chemo treatments for cancer. So he and I guess some cousins of his shaved their heads to show her some support. I guess she's doing better. Good to hear. He was a 2nd-round pick of the Twins in 08. Following year traded here to the A's for Orlando Cabrera. 47th major league game over the last 2 years. Swing and a miss. Couldn't get the curve. 2-2. Well, you never like to give up home runs, but you can certainly shake it off with a big lead like the Cubs have tonight. Getting ready for the A's Legends race. What do they call it here? Call it strike 3. You know
I don't
what the
know.
official title of the race is?
I like Legends. Maybe it's Hall of Famers.
Now batting the catcher, number 63.
We got Fingers, Henderson, and Eckersley.
Maxwell.
Left center for Maxwell. That'll split the gap. Fowler will cut it off, but it'll be a double for the A's catcher from the 9 spot. He's had a couple good at bats. He lined out his first time.
Yeah, he's hitting for a high average down at AAA. So the A's rising up, making some noise here in the home 6th.
Number 10, Marcus Semien.
Now we want to welcome those viewers who have joined us from the White Sox telecast. Cubs leading the A's 7-1. Make it possibly 7-2. Maxwell will score. Marcus Semien with an RBI single. 3 hits in the inning. The A's had 1 over the first 5 innings.
Semien getting his 3rd look at John tonight. First pitch swinging. Delivers Maxwell. Pitch count still in good shape at 77.
Number 5, Jake Smolinski.
Just in case, they're going to get somebody going in the bullpen. Smolinski's hit it hard twice tonight.
We're getting the rowdy fans out in right field into this game for the first time. Ball one.
Closer ball game, you'd really be concerned with Semien running in this situation. He's 9 out of 10 in stolen bases.
Pedro Strop grabs the ball in the Cubs pen. The A's base coach is Mike Aldretti at first and Ron Washington over at third. Washington back with the A's. A very successful stint as the Rangers manager. 2-1.
Ron Washington, considered one of the better infield instructors in the game. He's got a lot of young pupils to work with here now. Dancing around a little bit over there at first base, but still not measuring a very aggressive lead. Clubs come into a game against John and think, well, we're going to do a lot of running, and as soon as that first guy gets thrown out, it changes the dynamic. And that happened with Davis back in the second. Of course, they hadn't had any base runners since Davis in the second.
Yeah, you make a good point. That first guy to try it, if he gets thrown out, that does seem to change the strategy. Two and two. Into right center. Semien to third. Here comes the throw by Hayward. It'll be cut off by Russell. 4 hits here in the 6th.
Impressive rally the A's are staging here in the 6th. They're doing nothing for 5 innings. A string of really good at-bats. Smolinski's been swinging it well tonight. It's the first one to fall in for him, but he's hit the ball hard 3 times.
That'll prompt a visit by the pitching coach Chris Bosio.
Yeah, so all of a sudden we got a bit of a ball game here, don't we? 5-run game still, but a couple of men on, and Valencia, as we mentioned during his first at bat, has been really tough on left-handed pitching this year. 370 batting average coming into this one. 440 on base, 654 slugging percentage. And 6 out of 22 against John Lester now in his career with a long ball.
Way inside on a fastball. The Marlins came back. They scored 4 in the 9th and beat the Rockies 5-3. Big win for them after getting swept at Wrigley Field. Hitters count here for Valencia, and the pitch. It's a strike. Well, Valencia not happy with Mike Estabrook tonight. Called out in the first. Didn't think it was a strike.
Yeah, well, it's a big pitch here. It's on the plate, but down.
He's got a beef. And he went that time. Well, that could have been bases loaded after a 4-pitch walk. Instead, it's 2-2. So Lester back in it.
Called strike on the pitch out of the zone creates a little extra anxiety for the hitter. Maybe get a little extra aggressive.
Called strike 3.
Now Valencia's got no beef on that one.
That's it. He's out.
Yeah.
Mike Estabrook said you're gone. Bob Melvin out to protect his player.
Valencia had a beef on the first one. Strike 3 looked like a good pitch. Maybe the calmest ejection I've ever seen.
Now batting left fielder, number 2, Chris.
Valencia taking the walk of shame. Not out of the woods yet.
Ball 1.
David Ross, really good back there. Great hands. Very adept at stealing pitches for his pitcher. He would say, I'm not stealing. I'm just presenting the ball in a way to get a favorable outcome from the home plate umpire.
Foul strike. It's 2-1. Red Sox lead 4-0 at the Dodgers. They're playing the 7th tonight, and I guess Big Papi will start at first base tomorrow. First time in over a year. Swing and a miss. 2-2.
Davis a strikeout victim last time. A very awkward swing on strike 3 last time. This time just pulling off that heater a little bit.
Back to Lester, and that'll end the inning. A's get their first 2 runs, and that's it. 7-2 after 6. high-speed action. The Hall of Fame race. Who won? Was it Raleigh?
I don't know.
Or Eck?
There's going to be an inquiry. How does anybody beat Ricky Henderson? He should win every time.
Yonder Alonso in for the ejected Danny Valencia. See, Eck's smiling, so I think he thinks he won. A little smirk by Raleigh. Chris Bryant takes low and inside from Coulomb.
Every time Ricky wins, he picks up the base and holds it over his head.
Today I'm the greatest.
Had some characters here over the years, have they not?
Not just the players. Go back to the Charlie Finley days.
Billy Martin managing.
Yeah,
Billy Ball era.
Billy Ball. Brad Pitt ran the organization at one point, just for a couple of hours on my movie screen. Two and two.
Follow Cubs baseball live with the MLB.com @BAT app. Stay up to the moment at any moment with Game Day, live game video highlights, StatCast, news, and more. Download MLB.com @BAT, the #1 app for live baseball on your phone and tablet. $25,182 on hand for the proceedings here tonight.
Well, that's the other thing about the history of this franchise here in Oakland. Go back to the early days. 2-2 bounces up there. This cavernous ballpark. They had some very tiny crowds. Their first year here, 68. They averaged 10,000 fans a game. The next year, 9,600. Drew under 800,000 fans for the season. Bryant draws the walk. The 1979 Oakland A's, 54 and 108. You know how many they averaged per game? 3,700. Wow. They drew just over 300,000 fans for the entire year. Yeah, that's pretty much what the entire ballpark looked like right there every night.
Guy with the drum really stood out back then.
He did. I think they had a game where they drew like 600 fans. I'm going to find it on Baseball Reference. I found it. They had a walk-off win 6-5 over the Mariners Tuesday, April 17th. 1979 in front of a paid crowd of 653.
So you know, it's sometimes you get in a market like that where the team's not drawing. If you're a baseball fan, they just love the game. It can be a good thing because you come to the ballpark whenever you want and get a great seat. Might not be great atmosphere, and the home team's not doing a whole lot of winning.
Well, I think that, yeah, when you have a very small, vociferous group, they really take ownership, right? And they probably don't like it when the ballpark's full. As they say, I was here when there were 653 here.
Where were all you Johnny-come-latelys? Well, they had a bad run. The A's in Kansas City didn't have a lot of success. They were noted for trading their best players to the Yankees, but they found success fairly quickly after moving out here. I mean,
no doubt.
Reggie and Sal Bando and all those teams, good players. I'm not sure what's going on there, but it looks good.
Called strike 3 to get Rizzo. Well, their starter Overton was not good, but Triggs and Coulombe have been very good out of the bullpen.
Yeah, they've kind of restored order, and the A's made some noise last inning.
Number 18.
It's still a comfortable situation for the Cubs, but you know, this is a game in the second or third inning. I thought for sure we were going to end up seeing a position player pitch for the A's tonight.
One and one on Zobrist. Don't see Zobrist chase pitchers like that very often.
Well, that's the thing. You hear so many times, whether it's high school players, college players, or minor league players, and their career comes to an end, and they'll say, well, I just couldn't hit the curveball. A lot of big league players can't hit the curveball either. I mean, especially when it's a good one like this kid features. The key is if he makes a mistake with it, do some damage, or take it and wait for something you can handle.
We'll try it once more. Cubs got 4 in the first. Fowler led off the game with a home run. Jorge Soler just off the DL hit a 3-run homer in his first plate appearance. They added 3 more runs in the third. A's got on the board with 2 in the 6th on 4 hits.
Interleague series going on in LA this weekend. Red Sox lead the Dodgers 5-0. Stephen Wright working on a 1-hitter.
The Dodgers know the Giants have already lost. They could get within 1, but take a big comeback late. Bryant goes. Zobrist bounces to third. Cubs stay out of the double play. Tag applied by Alonso. Runner at second, 2 outs.
Now batting.
Healy takes his time, gathers himself, but the throw is up the line. Nice play by Alonso. Saving Major Healy a throwing error. Healy was a really good pitcher in high school, but nothing close to his mom. A story on him today. His mom was a softball pitcher, and when she was in high school, she was 34-1 with 23 shutouts and 9 no-hitters.
She'd go on to play College?
I don't know. I assume.
Oh. Good night for Russell. As you see, 3 reaches, 2 hits and a run.
Man, that's a good hook. Easy to give up on that pitch. You see it come out of his hand with a big hump in it. It looks like it's going to be way high. He must have tremendous spin rate on this curveball. Cubs have not scored since the 3rd. Bryant, the first to be in scoring position since the 3rd.
Rainbow into shallow right. And coming on is Eibner. And we'll stretch in Oakland. 7-2 Cubs.
To get back in the win column as the Cubs face Sonny Gray and the A's. It's game 2 of the series. Coverage begins at 2:30 with Cubs pregame live presented by Fields Auto on CSN Chicago. John Lester back out for the 7th. Got touched for 2 runs on 4 hits in the 6th.
Butler in the air, deep left. Bryant has room.
The Butler didn't do it. Maybe he did.
Now batting third baseman, number 48.
Strope, who was up the last inning, is throwing alongside Lester now. Maybe Joe just going 1 batter at a time here. Starters have been awfully good lately. Off day yesterday, so everybody ready to go down in that bullpen.
You know, JD, it's kind of how we all live the baseball game of life. 1 batter at a time.
1 batter, 1 pitch.
The 0-1 to Healy. Outside.
John came into this game with an ERA of 2.95.
Line shot, base hit to left. So much better contact here these last 2 innings by the A's bats.
Now batting right fielder, number 39, Brett Eibner.
John has allowed 3 or fewer in 17 of his 21 starts this year. Here's Eibner, the guy that got him for the long ball last inning.
He has a sports broadcaster's dream of a last name. Eibner can really go to town on.
But he was an outstanding pitcher too in high school, and then in college. He's another one of those kids that they're all above average from the Woodlands, Texas. Played alongside Kyle Drabeck in a state championship team down there, and then went on to the University of Arkansas. Did some pitching as well as played the outfield.
Tap foul.
Well, the story goes he was drafted by the Astros out of high school, and the story goes that they had an agreement that he was going to sign, and then one of his teammates was drafted later in the draft and got a bigger bonus, and he said, wait a minute here. So decided to go to college. But he and Drabeck, Paul Goldschmidt, Jamison Tyon of the Pirates, all out of the Woodlands High School. A heck of a program.
This will be pitch number 100 for Lester. And here it comes. It's a strike. Ross's throw to first. A little bit late. 2-2 the count.
And Healy not getting that big secondary lead we see many base runners get against John.
.59 when we got started. Probably around the mid-50s by now. Not very windy. Comfortable night with long sleeves. On a bounce, Zobrist, not a good flip, and Russell fortunate to get an out and not blow out a groin muscle. That had danger written all over it.
If you believe it's something, stand for it.
Now batting second baseman, number 45, Tyler Lattendorf.
Ben trying to be really quick there. Ooh, Addison did just get the back corner of the bag. Well, he went back and got it again anyway.
So it's Lattendorf with Eibner now at first, 2 outs. Joe will be real happy to get Lester through 7 and then let the bullpen cover the final 6 outs. Pitch. Fastball away. He has been behind a lot of hitters here these last 2 innings. 2-0. Key sequence for him is coming back and getting Danny Valencia. Started 2-0. Got a borderline called strike 1. Eventually struck out Valencia looking. He was ejected. And then got Davis on a ground ball back to the mound. And it looked like the A's thinking they were going to get back in this game. Popped him up on the infield. Zobrist has it. The inning is over. Might be it for John. He'll lead with a 5-run lead if so. Hefty home run, and we're going to go home runs because Fowler led off the game with a blast. Later that inning, Jorge Soler 3-run shot. Bang, 4-0. Cubs would jump out to a 7-0 lead. It's now 7-2. 8th inning. All the Cubs runs coming against the starter Dylan Overton. They have 1 hit the last 4 innings against Triggs and Coulombe combined.
Wouldn't be surprised if Bob Melvin handed the ball to Triggs next time this spot in the rotation comes up. Overton struggling the way he has.
Pretty sure Lester's done after 7 innings. Carl Edwards Jr. now cranking it up in the bullpen. Fine work by Lester tonight. So tries to get his 12th victory.
Be 1 more than he had last year, as he went 11-12 last season, his first in a Cub uniform.
Got him on the outside corner.
Bet you he gets a high percentage of his strikeouts
Number
looking
22,
with that big curveball.
All 3 tonight are.
What's the concession of choice here at this ballpark? They have anything? Are they famous for anything here?
I don't know.
Across the bay, you know, the garlic fries is a big deal.
Our second time here. What do we got there? Ballpark Buffalo Poppers. So I guess if you want poppers of various kinds.
What? The regurgitating O is not appetizing. I'm not sure what that's all about.
Right. One and two.
Got nothing against a popper, but.
Told they have great carbonation on their soda. Curveball inside, 2-2.
Is that right?
I'm just. You asked me what they specialized in. I don't know.
I've never gotten a flat soda at the Coliseum.
You get a great amount of ice in your diet soda here at the Coliseum. Back-to-back Ks to start the 8th for Coulomb.
It's aptly named, though, isn't it? When you talk about the size of this, the Coliseum.
Yes.
Now batting, number 9, Javier Baez.
Ironically, well, you'll hear players complain about the facilities here. What they will not complain about, in fact, they rave about, is the playing surface.
Yeah.
One of the best in all of baseball.
Yeah. See, I think for their Legends race, their Hall of Fame race, because it's the Coliseum, they should put those guys in chariots. I think that would be really cool. And the whole this whole Ben-Hur vibe going on with Ricky Henderson and Raleigh Fingers and Eck.
Want to go the Charlie Finley route? You could have a mule and an elephant in the race too.
Pulling the chariots.
Crew from Oakland, and it's Carl Edwards Jr. in relief of John Lester.
Well, Carl Edwards going along nicely, working now for the 17th time. He has pitched to a 1.59 earned run average. Just 6 hits allowed in 17 innings, a bunch of strikeouts, just a handful of walks.
And first pitch strike.
Hasn't been much of a learning curve for Edwards at the big league level. Just give me the ball and let me go do my thing, and he's been outstanding.
The 0-1 to Maxwell. 1-1. From the wide, big leg kick. 2-1.
Estabrook be pretty generous down. We've seen him call the top of the zone. Now that pitch off the plate called a strike. So Pretty generous zone tonight. There's only been one walk issued in the entire ball game from either side. It's Cologne's walk of Bryant to lead off the last half.
Swing and a miss on 95. He got him.
Free and easy, long and loose.
Now batting shortstop.
Little high cheddar. John Lester tonight, 7 innings, 6 hits, 2 runs. They were earned, did not walk a man, struck out 8. 107 pitches, 71 for strikes.
Semien knocked in a run in the 6th, 1 for 3. Cutting action on the 4-seamer. Tough pitch to catch up with. Staying away. Breaking ball that time. Diving stop by us from a knee. He got him. Oh, what a play. Even he was impressed.
Yeah. Wow. The human highlight reel. Javi Baez pulls off another one.
Now batting center fielder, number 5, Jake.
The lunge, the smother, and then the perfect flip to first to get a speedy base runner.
Smolinski. I love the reaction by Baez. It's almost as if it's like this out of body experience where he can like observe it and go, yeah, that was actually pretty cool. Smolinski went. 2 strikes on him.
And he has not had a lot of action down there this evening. You think about a goalie when they're at their best, when they're getting peppered with shots and they kind of get into the flow and the rhythm of the game. We've been standing out there a long time without a whole lot to deal with.
Comes the 0-2.
Baseball America came out with their best tools article at every level, from low A all the way up through the big leagues. And a number of Cubs showed up, and they ran it. They, 1, 2, 3 for each of their categories. Best infield arm, best defensive guy at each position. The one guy who didn't show up in any of that was Baez, and I think a lot of it is because he doesn't have a position.
Right. Yep.
Anthony Rizzo made their rankings for best defensive first baseman. Chris Bryant is one of the most exciting players and best power in the game. Zobrist for his plate discipline.
Swing and a miss. Inning over. 2 strikeouts, and then he just let Javi Baez do his thing. 7. time they've played the A's here since 2013. They are playing just their 10th game all time in interleague play against the A's, leading the series 5-4. And here's Mark Zepchinski.
Veteran left-hander is working for the 49th time. 1-0 with a 3.48.
By the way, the Cubs and the A's have met up twice in the World Series. Both times the A's were in Philadelphia in 1910. A's won 4-1. 1929, same result. Ross fouls back as we start the ninth.
Sinkers, sliders, and a changeup from Mark Eichart. What was the nickname they had for him in St. Louis?
Yeah.
Eichart? Yeah. But he's not the original Eichart. Doug Goltz or one of those guys from back in the day.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
I was thinking like a Mark Grudzielanek.
You could nickname him Spelling Bee. I don't even try it when I put his name in my scorecard. I don't even try to write his name. I just put a Z and a bunch of squiggles.
Well, you got good at spelling Jeff Samardzij's last name. Could you do it right now?
No chance.
Matt Caesar, you could do, right?
SECZUR.
Yeah. A little easier to read the front of his jersey than the back.
That would be fun if there was a spelling bee and it was all names, baseball player names, and use it in a sentence. And the kids, Samardzija, S-M-A-R-J. Samardzija hung a slider and we got beat last night. Samardzija.
Repeat it at the end.
Now Joe Smith, we could handle that.
Well, you could go with how many different spellings of current major leaguers with the first name Chris could you come up with? I could think of at least 3 right off the top of my head.
Yeah, I got you.
2 are in this game.
Yep.
Swing and a miss by Ross. And it's Dexter Fowler.
Now batting, number 24, Dexter Fowler.
Oh, I'm hearing Scrabble was what
Scrabble,
Zepchinski's nickname was in St. Louis. Well, if you're Bob Melvin, I guess every manager, you're always looking for a silver lining, especially when you're managing a last place club. And he can very quickly point out after the game, my bullpen was really good tonight, and he would be correct. Now, burying the lead a little bit was, the starting pitcher gave up 7.
This is game 1 of a 10-game homestand for the A's. Baltimore and then Seattle coming in.
Too bad Zepchinski is on the same staff as O. Line and the payoff delivery is tapped on the ground to first. Alonso take it unassisted. Chris Bryant, K-R-I-S. We've got a K-H-R-I-S in the game, and there's a C-H-R-I-S. Bunch of those too. Is there a fourth way of spelling it in the big leagues?
Not that I'm aware of.
Chris Carter, NFL player, right? C-R-I-S.
Oh, he's the.
Yep.
Yeah, the Chris Carter, the baseball player, is the traditional spelling.
Right. I'm calling it right here. This pitch. Oh. Thought he'd give him a little something better to hit.
There's that big zone from Estabrook again, which appeared to be outside.
Changeup's coming. And he punches it out into right center. All right, that's it. I used up my one chip calling a home run this year, and I was wrong.
Yeah, but a lot of people are sleeping. You're good. They don't even know it.
Number 44,
right.
Anthony Rizzo.
Rizzo 1 out of 4. So it'll be Joe Smith in the bottom of the ninth. Inside for ball one. Anthony's buddies from Parkland, the Little League team. Big game tomorrow, so they have headed home to get some rest. Cubs out hitting the A's 11-6.
And this is the anniversary of the first ever baseball game broadcast on radio. August 5th, 1921, KDKA of Pittsburgh, the Pirates Phillies. Harold Arlen at the mic.
Bounced over Alonso, picked by Ladendorf, throw to first, he got him. Oh, that's a great play.
Man, he's made some sparkling plays tonight. None better than this one.
So we saw Baez for the Cubs in the last half inning. Tyler Ladendorf with a terrific play here. 4-1 to end the inning. We'll go to the bottom of the ninth. 7-2 Cubs. Depot, John Lester pitching against one of his former teams, and he's poised to grab his 12th win of the year.
I got the early run support, and he was on the attack early. Struck out to 8 tonight, did not walk a man, allowed 6 hits, 2 runs. Essentially one double bogey there in the 6th, and everything else was par or birdie.
Benny's is the official champagne provider of the Chicago Cubs. Joe Smith will work for the 2nd time as a Cub. And I don't want to take put out away from Yonder Alonso. It was 4-3, Ladendorf making the play. I kind of took Alonso out of the play because the ball bounced over him, but he was able to get back to the bag, not the pitcher.
Joe's, I'm sure, done a fair amount of work in this ballpark with his time with the Angels.
Fouled back, strike 1.
Smith, sinker slider, ground ball pitcher. Oh my.
Alonso can't believe it. He said that pitch landed yonder.
Like Estabrook, a modern day Frank Pulley here tonight.
On the ground to the second baseman Zobrist for the out. Smith acquired on Monday for minor league pitcher Jesus Castillo.
Left fielder.
Got 2 outs, gave up a home run on Wednesday in his Cub debut. One and 0.
Joe broke in with the Mets back in 2007.
Well, there's an out that would only be recorded here with all that foul ground. Rizzo's got it, 2 gone.
I guess that's one of the adjustments you have to make is to pursue those pops where you see it off the bat and you're thinking, well, that's out of play.
Designated hitter, number 16, Billy Butler.
This is Smith's 38th career appearance against the A's. As he works to Butler. Couple of occupations matching up here, Smith and Butler.
According to Baseball Reference, Billy Butler's nickname is Country Breakfast.
That's a good one.
Yeah. The frisbee. Throw it in there, see how far you can hit it. Smith with that sinking action on his fastball can afford to be over the heart of the plate. Just keep it down, get a little run, turn that big swing into a meek ground ball.
Cubs fans making noise here in the bottom of the ninth. 3-2 on Butler, the pitch. Foul.
Butler, tough guy to finish off. Doesn't strike out all that often.
Cubs looking for their 5th consecutive win. Improved to 9-4 against the American League. Most of that work done against this Western Division. He walked him. So Butler keeps the Athletics alive. Here's Healy, 1 for 3.
A little bit closer, and Butler likely hacks, and if not, Estabrook likely rings him up. But that one well down, and the A's stay alive.
Joe doesn't waste too much time between pitches. Line to left, right at Chris Bryant, who has to reach up to make the catch. Cubs win. Cubs grab their 5th in a row. Say this game was over.